Welcome to the Healthy Relationships and Confidence panel.
And you also know what calls you. No matter how many times you avoid it, it will keep calling you.
You make a lot of content around like relationships and like coming of age, coming to yourself as a woman.
In each and every person, there is no one like you.
The best relationships I had was when I was happy and content with myself.
How would you say is the best way to build like self-esteem and confidence as a woman?
I look good. You understand? I look good.
Thank you all. Hope you're able to have a quick break. I'm now going to hand over to our wonderful host, Mo Chunks. If I can have a round of applause for her, please. Thank you so much.
Hello, gorgeous people. Welcome to the Healthy Relationships and Confidence panel. And we have our amazing guests. We have Toni Tone. We have the wonderful Grace Ajilore. And we also have the beautiful Desthy Dee. Okay, so I have a few questions to ask you guys, and then we're going to do a Q&A at the end as well. Okay, so I'm going to go over to you first, Desthy Dee. As a mental well-being peer support coordinator, what advice do you have for young women going through like mental health struggles, and like how would you advise them in terms of getting out of it as well?
You want to find the right support that is fitted for you. You can lean and turn to your friends and family. If that doesn't make you feel comfortable, then you can also seek support through Wish, through Mind, through IAPT, and through Safe Haven. I represent Mind as a peer support coordinator, and I also understand how difficult it is to speak to a professional when it comes to something that is very vulnerable, very difficult to you, very endearing to you, but finding the right support for you first, that is the most important thing. And as well as, you know within yourself if that doesn't align with you, if that relationship does not serve you any good, if that value is being compromised, if that worth is being compromised, then you know where to turn to. If your friend can't help you, or if your friend does not have the capacity, you can turn to professionals, and that is what they're there for. I've used Samaritan for the past 12 years, since I was 21 years old. They are available 24/7, at 2 a.m., at 6 a.m., at 5 a.m. Crisis line is available 24/7. You don't have to be in crisis to ask for help. You just need to start by saying, hey, I don't feel like myself. Where do I go from here? It's as simple as that. Or you can DM me, hello.
Amazing, thanks for that. Now, Toni, going over to you. You make a lot of content around like relationships and like coming of age, coming to yourself as a woman. Like, what advice would you have for women who are trying to navigate the complexities of dating as a woman, especially in the day and age that we find ourselves today?
Is this on? Can you hear me? Yes. One big piece of advice, I mean, it sounds cliche because a lot of people say it, but I think it's so true, is to approach navigating, finding yourself in relationships from the perspective of prioritizing yourself and putting yourself first, and understanding that you need to approach it as a whole person. And by whole, it's understanding what you want to get out of life, understanding who you are, understanding your values, understanding what's important to you, your boundaries, and that puts you in a better position to not only have discernment in life, but to also determine like whether someone is good for you or not good for you. I think historically, when I was younger, I used to approach relationships from the perspective of, what can I do for them? I want to be good for them. I want to be this great girlfriend. I'm this great girlfriend. Look at me. Like, it was very pick me. And as I got older, I realized that actually, when it comes to my relationships, not just with romantic partners, but also with friends, what can they do for me also? What are they bringing into my life? Like, and the best relationships I had, friendships, romantic, was when I was happy and content with myself. Because if I'm happy, then I would only want you in my space if you're going to add value. Otherwise, I'm good on my own. So I think that like harnessing that contentment in your life, I would say, is number one to finding yourself and then fostering healthy relationships in your life.
Contentment is so key because you tend to pick the wrong things from a place of desperation.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't even know when you've picked it until you're in it. And now you're looking back like, okay. Yeah. Now, Grace, as an internet sensation, someone who's been on our screens for a very long time and doing really, really amazing, what advice would you have for, young women that are looking to build build themselves up in online spaces as well?
Well, I think the first thing, I know, again, it does sound quite cliche, but one thing about what I do online is I'm forever myself. There is nobody like me. I'm a be real. So that's in each and every person. There is no one like you. I don't know if I'm quite making sense, but for me, that's what makes me me, and that's how I can, just apply myself, like to be able to, what's the word? Sort of just like connect with people, is to be able to like be myself, because there's someone somewhere who is exactly like me as well. In that sense, I'm African, and I somehow connect with African women as well. So yeah, there's just nobody like you. So I think the main thing is just going online and doing what makes you happy, and what is authentic to you, and and just have lots of fun with it. I definitely have lots of fun. I do whatever I want to do. I'll give you what I want to give you, and you take it. I'm not going to pretend. Like, I remember when I first started YouTube, I remember I said I'd opened my first video was what's in my makeup bag. So I was like, look at the shadow that I got. Look at all the blah, blah, blah. But then I thought, you know what, this ain't even me, I'll be honest. So then I started talking about, side chicks and a whole nother thing entirely. But the whole idea is just to be authentic to you, and just remember that there is no one like you. And I'm telling you this from the heart, just being yourself, bringing out your personality, whether that's you cooking, showing your skills, showing your personality, whether you like fashion and you like clothes. This is our fashion babe here, So things like that, just to be authentic to yourself. Like, no matter what, you will connect to someone somewhere. And yeah, that's the fun thing about social media. So.
Amazing. You can never go wrong being authentic and being your most authentic self. And this is a question for any of you guys, really, because I feel like it relates to mental health as well, and also being your best self. What are some dating red flags and also dating green flags? Because we just had an amazing panel that was quite heavy at some points as well, highlighting how bad the red flags can get sometimes. So what would you guys say are dating red flags and green flags that women should look out for?
For me, one green flag is how staying kind in conflict. I feel like kindness is something, when you meet a kind man, he's kind even when you're pissing him off, right? And I think a big green flag for me that I came to realize, unfortunately too late, was having those difficult conversations and not being called out my name, not having to deal with someone being aggressive with me, not being called a bitch, not being called everything under the sun, and that person still being kind, because they understand that the problem we're facing is not me versus them, right? It's about finding a solution that can help the both of us. So that's a green flag for me. I have more, but I'll let them.
I think you should go, because my own is, I'll give you the red flags. I would not like to.
Should I do the green flags?
I'll give you the red flag.
I'm going to go green. And no pun intended, but they have to have grace. Okay. You are on a journey, and you will continuously be on a journey, period. There's going to be an evolve versions of you every day, every year. You're not going to want to have long hair. You're going to have short hair next month. You're not going to want to be a teacher. You might want to be a doctor next year. You might be like, babe, do you know what? I think I might be ready for kids. There's so many different versions of you, and he has to understand and be willing to be open-minded to your changes, to your heart, to your needs, to what you want, and make time. The busiest people can still make time for you, and they will not let you know how busy they are because they just want to be present. They want you to be heard, seen, felt, and be there. As somebody who is still, learning about dating, because dating in London is, yeah, that reaction right there. I look for grace, I hear you, ladies. I hear you. That's why none of the men are here right now. We all just here gathered together, But yeah, they have to have grace because I do look for kindness. I do look for softness. I want to live in my best soft life. I'm tired of having to survive. I'm tired of having to defend myself. You heard me, tired of having to continuously fight for what I want and need. And I shouldn't have to fight with you if you are my partner. You are someone who I want to love. Why am I fighting you? I just want to love you. Amen.
Where do I start? Because we all just know, as women, we just know what that red flag is saying. And I just think, I don't even need to start to pinpoint what you're doing, how the bad you're doing, because honestly, I could be here all day. As you said, we're navigating dating. Me too, I'm navigating dating. It's not an easy thing. But I think sometimes we just need to listen to that inner voice, because there's a lot of times when, when I was younger, I would be with someone and it's like, this is not right. But I would still somehow be sitting there, and it's just, why? So I think sometimes you just need to feel and listen to your mind. Listen, and another thing is sharing. I know sharing can be a bit funny at times, but if you have that one person, some people it's their mums, some people it's their sister, their older sister, their younger sister. Them younger sisters know one or two things, I'll tell you, because they see a red flag from a mile away. So it's just, if you just listen to your voice, listen to your mind, and just be aware that, your body will tell you that this doesn't feel right. And, if you want to be, you want to ignore it, then you will see Pepe. If do you know what I mean? If you will see what you're looking for, because I feel like we're all intelligent. Women are very intelligent and very, intuitive. So you're gonna know when something is off. So I think it's just listening to your mind and just knowing that. Because, we all have our red flags. Like I said, I could be here all day and start telling you what they be doing. That's a red flag. But I just feel like inside us, we already know what is a red flag. But if it's like you just want to, but he's cute. Oh, but, I like his haircut. I like his this. I like, you will see what you're looking for. Do you understand? But you just have to listen to yourself and, if you want to leave, just leave. And another thing, there's a lot of guys out there. I'm not saying that there's lots in this UK. I didn't say that. But what I'm saying is that they're very replaceable, and men find it easy to replace us. Yeah. Hello? Very easy to replace us. So why can't we replace them? You understand? They're very easy to replace. They don't have anyway. I'm going too far, sorry.
Some really amazing points there. And just to add to what you guys are saying as well, I feel like with women, we sometimes want to find out what's behind that. This is a weird feeling. Sometimes you don't have to wait to see what that feeling is telling you. There's something off here. You don't need to investigate further. You don't have to wait for it to kind of explode before you're like, okay, that's what that feeling wants. Once you have it, you have the spirit of discernment in you, like follow it, and it will guide you and really serve you. A question for all of you as well, again. How would you say is the best way to build like self-esteem and confidence as a woman? This is in your career, life, relationships.
I can answer that first. Learn about your strengths and weaknesses. Sorry, guys, my suit is really slippery with all this glitter. I'm just like a rolling disco ball. Learn about your strengths and weaknesses. You know what you're good at, and you know what you are not good at, and you also know what calls you. No matter how many times you avoid it, it will keep calling you. You know you love to dance, but you're like, I want to be a nurse. But the thing is, you start two-stepping, You know what I mean? Just to make you happy. She's like, do you know what? I need to take 5 and I'm just going to dance. I'm going to dance it out. Babe, just dance. Just dance. Like, I've gone through so many different careers. Grace knows this. You know how many careers I've been through. At the age of 30, I've had more than 15 careers. I've been a truck driver before, guys. I've worked in a bread factory, or I'm going to be one hell of a mum and one hell of a godmum telling kids, I'm like, yes, Auntie's been a truck driver before. Auntie's done this, done that. But I ended up here as a mental well-being peer support coordinator, and actually I'm happy to share this with you guys. As of this week, I've just become an SEN specialist, which is a special needs and behavioral mentor specialist. Thank you. I know, right? Can't wait to bat up those kids. They're joking. No, I have insatiable love for kids, and you know, building self-confidence and growth actually is very testimonial for myself. As somebody who has gone through numerous mental health and traumas, I've gone through childhood trauma, childhood neglect, depression, ADHD, dyslexia, dyspraxia, God, you name it, throw it in the bag. Look at all the Amazon basket. It's really bright, guys. Hence why my suit is bright. But it's you. It's a part of you. And if you don't own it, you're going to feel like shame for it. You're going to hide that. You're going to have that Peter Parker syndrome where you are one person outside of the house and you are one person inside the house. I'm seeing some nods because I'm talking to somebody's house right now. You are you. There's only one of you, like Grace said. And the sooner you own you, the freer you would be. Learning about your strengths and weaknesses is your power. And the more you own, like for myself, I used to talk about my mental health all the time, and it was negative towards brands. I got turned down by so many brands and organizations because it was negative at the time, and it was very political. But I still kept on talking about it because I knew I could relate to somebody out there. And now, 5 years later of not giving up, I'm able to speak to 30% of the schools with kids that are underprivileged, undersupported, and I became that because the 9-year-old Desthy, who was gracefully given up by her parents, taught me how to be that person for the next generation. And I think that using your testimony as your power, it just puts you on a whole different pedestal that no one can touch you. No one can be you. No one can beat you. It's no longer a race. It's a steady marathon. Just you, yourself, God, your loved ones, and whoever's supporting you.
Do you know what? That's amazing, right? But there's a simpler way, right? Because I wasn't always confident. I was not, believe it or not. I was not always confident. So one thing I will say is that sometimes you just need to get your hair done. You just need to get yourself gathered. Like sometimes you go through a bad situation, yeah, and you just don't gather yourself. Have you ever seen yourself when you just don't get your hair done, you don't get your eyebrows done, your eyelashes is not giving, everything is not. Just when you finish, you go to the mirror and say, I look good. You understand? Like, I look good. Like everything is good. You know, sometimes you just need to get your hair done. I'll be honest, you need to encourage yourself, go to the mirror and love on you all the time. I do it all the time. My manager will tell you, I'll walk past a mirror and the one thing I'll be doing is, I look so sweet today. Look at this. Like you just have to love you and it will come naturally because not everyone is like just wakes up and they're confident. Like it's a process. But if you start loving yourself when you wake up, when you rise up in the morning, it's like, I'm going to go get my new wig, man. Are you all right? And when the wig and the braids and everything is given, like you will have that confidence, you know? Whatever you like or you see on someone else that you're admiring, just go and get it and go and, do it for yourself. It will help. It's not going to fix all the problems, but it's a start. If you continue doing that every other day, I'm telling you, it works. It worked for me because that's what I do. I don't feel good all the time, but girl, when I get my little wig on and I just, I feel good. So yeah, give it a try, man. Give it a try.
I love it. Toni, do you want to give us one last on confidence and self-esteem?
Gosh, when it comes to building confidence, I think a big thing for me is being mindful of the company you keep. The wrong friends will totally destroy your confidence. The right friends will boost your confidence so much. And a lot of people always comment about the fact that my social circle is very small. Even though I have a lot of like Instagram, TikTok followers, as far as my inner circle, I'm always with my sister, if not my best friend, but she went to move to Ghana. Who back there anyway? My best friend, my brother, my siblings. Like my social circle is small, and it's a conscious decision on my part. I have lots of acquaintances, but I choose to navigate my life in that way because I'm very protective of my peace. And I'm very selective about who I bring into my life. And again, it goes back to me being so happy on my own. Like, you can't come and destroy this happiness for me. Like, you have to add value. So I think choosing to surround yourself with the right company, people who support you, who want to see you win, who want to see you succeed, who love to see you happy, who... And I'll say this as well. When we talk about jealousy, because people think that if you're a good person, you're never jealous. Bad people are always jealous. Good people can experience bouts of jealousy, but what separates a good friend from a not so good friend is how they deal with that jealousy in the moment. If they think for a split second, damn, she's so lucky, I wish I had that. But then it's, you know what, but I'm happy for her regardless, man. Her win's my win. One day it will happen for me. That's a good friend. They might have experienced a tinge of jealousy, but the way they handled it is what made them a good friend. So yeah, just be mindful, be selective, be precious about who you bring into your life. Friends, partners, everybody. Like, you need to vet everyone.
Yeah. Amazing. Thank you guys so much for those answers. We're going to go into the Q&A now, but before we do that, we want to remind you of the hashtag. It's hashtag TCL2, and you can also add the Young Ladies Club as well. Yeah? Awesome. So do we have any questions for our panelists?
All of you, you know, your energy is really bright. Oh, I've got a big enough mouth, you know. Your energy is really bright, and you know, I'm older than you guys, and so it's so exciting to see the younger generation be so full of motivation, inspiration. I'm gonna go get it, you know. However, I have one question to ask, because I work with a lot of young people, and I work with a lot of hard-to-risk young people, young girls in prison, young girls on the roads, yeah? Young girls who there is nothing in their pot that says, I can do this, I can do that. They're robbing, they're stealing, you know? Their attitude is hard. And then also looking at my own life and going through my own ups and downs. And also there's probably lots of other women in here as well that have... I don't know, you've had lots of things happen to you, complex PTSD, trauma, all those sorts of things. So one thing I just wanted to ask each of you, what happens when someone's in the meantime? In the meantime is that foggy period where you don't know yourself at all, because I know that all of you have said, you know, just get up, just do this, do that. But I remember times when I was in 20 and I didn't know how to pick up the phone. I remember times in my 20s when anxiety was so deep that I couldn't speak. I hid anxiety. So if there's any bit of advice you could give to anybody, how do they move from the fog and allow the fog to start clearing in order to get to the point where I can make the phone calls, or, yeah, I'm confident enough to go and buy that wig now, or I'm confident enough to say to that brethren, I ain't got time. Because if you're lonely, because remember, a lot of people feel lonely inside, yeah? And they're lonely in a crowded room, but that's the only person that you have, or those people that you have, so you don't know how to let them go. So it's just that in the meantime. There's a book by Jana Van Zant. I don't know if they probably, yeah, you know, some people, but she used to, it's for the older generation, I'm sorry, but she had a book, and that's what it was for the older generation. In the meantime, what happens when you're out of the relationship, you're not with the friends, you're feeling depressed and moving out of that fog? I'd just love to hear from you as the younger generation.
So the in-between stages, yeah.
3 S's: safety, substance, and support. I was gracefully given up at 9 years old, and the 2 biggest pillars that were there for me, which is my mum and dad, were taken away from me. And from then, I had to learn life again from scratch. From that, I felt unsafe, even as a child, because I'm too free. There's so much freedom that I'm exposed to so many things: danger, risk, good things and bad things. Hurt people. So where you feel robbed, you will rob others, because, not because you have the intentions to rob, but you are just lost You've lost so much. I want it all back. My safety's gone. And where safety is gone, you turn to your left and the right, and if there is nobody, there is no support now, loneliness will cause and pull you into isolation. With isolation, then it becomes depression. Depression becomes suppression. And at that point, then you can become numb very, very quickly because there's no other voice but yourself, right? There's another voice in you saying, it's all right, you're right, you're fine by yourself. So-and-so's got too much going on. There's too much, that we're going through that we feel like a burden. What if they don't have the capacity? Now you're actually starting to believe into yourself that you are too much for others to help you or to support you because there was nobody there. That is a lie. Somebody somewhere out there is ready to help you, ready to support you. I can signpost you into every service you can think of because I've lived it for the past 21 years myself, and I'm the first testimony to be here. God bless my father. He just passed away 2 months ago. And if it wasn't for him adopting me 21 years ago, I wouldn't have that first point of safety. I now have 5 fathers, including my own biological father. My pastor, my mentor, my speaking agent. I grabbed a lot of powerful men around me, not because I don't get along with women. I needed that much safety. It was just that their guidance, their protection, and learning from them teaching me, I realized that knowledge is power. No one can fool a wise woman. So therefore, if knowledge can comfort that person, they can bring everything that they have lost back within themselves, Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you. Brilliant.
I think for me, in my times of feeling alone, I'm getting emotional because literally a month ago I had a revelation, and I was going through a period of, when you're religious but you let go of God. And I disconnected from Christ so much, and I was so guilty about it. And I remember going to church for the first time in a long time, and it was the realization that even when I feel alone, God has not forsaken me. And I would say, for anyone who is spiritual...
You got it, girl. You got it.
And this was very recent for me. I didn't talk about it because I said, you know what? I'm going through a personal journey. When I'm comfortable, I'm going to come out the other end. I'm going to talk about it. But it was that realization that even when you feel alone, God is always with you every step of the way. And in those moments where you feel like you are not doing enough to serve him, or you're not walking in your path in the way you should, he will always bring you back, always bring you back. And I think that is the advice that I would give. I think a lot of us make certain decisions, or we're not living how we want to live, and we see the best version of ourselves, and we're ridden with guilt. And the guilt makes us do the same thing, and we continue doing those things we shouldn't do, or we continue separating ourselves from God because we don't want to confront the reality that we've not been doing our best. And I think having grace for yourself and understanding that God will love you regardless. Like the story of the shepherd, you could stray, but he will always find a way to bring you back and to forgive you and to cover you and to hold you and to support you and to help you through your journey. And I think that's the main thing, especially for young women, understanding that, look, you might have fucked up, but that does not define you. You might have made a mistake, but that mistake doesn't label you. You can come out the other end. And even if you feel like your friends have abandoned you or family have abandoned you, I'm saying this as someone who has a strong support network. I have a very close-knit family. My partner is amazing. My best friend is amazing. But I was still feeling like something's not right, you ever have those periods? It seems like everything's going right in your life, but you're like, I feel like something's not right. I wake up every day and something is missing. And it was that piece was missing. So I would say that, for the young women who are willing and open, because not everyone believes in God, I know that, but for the young women who are willing and open, it's about reminding them that it is okay to mess up. We're human, we make mistakes, but at the end of the day, you're still one of God's children, and there is still light for you at the end of the tunnel. So I would say that's definitely it for me.
Amen.
Yeah, I think honestly, you really touched on what I was going to say. It's really about your relationship with God. I am still working on that. I feel like for me, it's still, when you go through, because you mentioned anger, and I think that is what I'm dealing with still in my life right now. So please don't look at me and think, oh, there's any different, because I'm still angry with a lot of things in my life. And whether we talk about it being a mistake, or whether you think you're going through your life and you're thinking, what made me do such a thing? I think the only thing that differs me sometimes from a lot of women is my ability to keep moving. In my family, there's no time for you to sit down and mope and grope and cry. You have to pick yourself up. So I won't be able to say it in a way that Toni can say it, because I grew up in a very harsh household. So it's like, rather than sitting there cry, what are you going to do about it? So for me, it's been a good thing. And it's also been like, it takes the sensitivity out of me a bit. But one of the good things about it is that I've been in terrible places. Like, babes, we've been holding suitcases, not having anywhere to go at one point. So since a long time ago. So, for me, it's just that thing of, like you said, you had a job, you had those jobs and jobs and jobs and jobs. It's crazy now we're here, right? But we don't give up. That's the thing. Like, it looks bad, but you have to have that ability in your mind. You have to want it for yourself. So as much as you're helping these amazing women and the amazing things you're doing, they have to want it for themselves. So you have to, the only thing you can do is to, advise them and give them the knowledge that but they have to want that for themselves inside. Because you see me, I'm not about to give up for nobody. I have to do it. And I've got a baby, he's 4, he's gonna turn 4. And it's like, I'm a single mum, I do everything for that boy. And I'm fine with it. I don't have the time to sit down and say, this sadness or that sadness. And in the last, I think the girls said previously, the last girls that were here, they were saying that, it's difficult being a mother and doing things on your own. Yes, it is difficult at times, but I don't have time to sit down and think about that. I do not. Because I'm raising a boy and I've got to get on with it. So that's probably my only advice on that, is getting a stronger relationship with God, and then also wanting it for yourself internally. You have to be like, that yesterday was a mess up, but tomorrow is not going to be like that.
So thank you guys so much for listening to us.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. That was really insightful, guys.